I'm absolutely delighted to hold this in my hand. I thank Gavin for his care, warmth, generosity and willingness to take on an Australian artist. I'm delighted that there are artists here and there is no age limit on being an artist. I come from country Queensland. I've travelled a lot. It's called Naturally Harmonious. My mum and I were very close, and at the same time, it was a challenging relationship. We may have been too alike, I don't know. She was incredibly intelligent and very creative and an amazing woman. She died in 2011, and under one of the beds, there were a whole lot of oil paint sketches that she had started from the 1960s. And I thought, I think we can do something with that. This is a mother and daughter painting. My mother did an oil sketch, which is the background creek and the trees. And then I overpainted it and brought in jigsaw puzzles and butterflies and her favourite cloud, which is the Hinia, and a crazy little character that I put in some of my art that represents me going places. And so this is called Naturally Harmonious, and it brought together what I feel are the important aspects of being a mother and a daughter. And yeah, so that one's very emotional. I'll try to do them in order of events. Oh, and that painting, by the way, is currently owned by a lady who came from Beijing and now lives in Australia. This little one here, Cascading into Consciousness, was a small painting I started about waterfalls. And I was just thinking about the flow of water, the rhythm of water, and the changes that happen along the way. So it includes things like part of what was a world flag, which is harmony amongst all peoples, a beautiful little frog with a key, dragonfly, a beautiful dragonfly, and it's a very simple, tidy little painting about harmony again, but taking it from a different perspective. I was brought up in the country. I'm very, very attuned to the earth and everything that's in it, and biodiversity. Are you understanding where I'm heading, or do we need a translator?
I can understand.
You're right. But the work speaks for itself, in as much as the whole point of painting is not so that you understand what I was thinking, but so that you understand more what you think. Art is supposed to help open windows in our minds so that we can become more aware of how we relate to environments. So the viewer then takes on whatever story they want to add into it. That's what imagination is for. When I say some of a little bit of background, I only want to give you something that will open the window, open the door, so that your mind can take you wherever you want to go. That is the point of art. It's not about what the artist thinks so much. It's about what the person who stands before it and looks at it thinks. And if it resonates, it does its purpose. If it doesn't, you move on to another work or another artist. And you'll eventually find artists and paintings and prints and sculptures that resonate with your soul. And that's the point. My work won't resonate with everybody's soul, but it will resonate with some. And that's the joy of being involved with Museverse. Because in that Museverse, people will find all types of art, and they'll be able to find where their passions lie. Part of my passion lies in Lebanon. This little painting is called Olive Tree of Noah. Now, if you've been to the Middle East, you may have heard about these extraordinary olive trees that are over 3,000 years old, and they still produce olives. They are still fertile. They are known as the olive trees of Noah. So there we have a crazy jigsaw character who has a little toy boat with Noah's Ark in a puddle. But it says that there's some connection that goes back through the generations. Now, I believe we have a connection that goes back beyond our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, into our ancestral heritage. It's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are, where we come from. And I know that some of my ancestors came from the Middle East a long time ago. And so the Middle Eastern regions are relatively important to me. I had planned to go to Lebanon and see these trees in 2014. So I will still get to where these trees are one day. But in the meantime, I've painted them twice. One of Australia's leading film producers is a man called Baz Luhrmann, married to the most extraordinary costume designer, Catherine Martin. They've won 4 Academy Awards. The only Australian person in anything to do with film who've won 4 Academy Awards. This is his handprint. So this is a handprint and a signature by Baz Luhrmann. Baz and I have collaborated on a couple of things in the past. And so I created a painting about his journey and my journey and where they intersect. So starting with his handprint and signature, and the strip of film unravelling some of our joined past, which includes a Judaic heritage, into the glass house. Now, he spent some of his youth in Port Macquarie area, and that is the art gallery and performing arts centre for Port Macquarie. So it brought him back to his roots. It takes other aspects, that's an aerial view of Port Macquarie and the lighthouse of Port Macquarie. This little flower here, which may just look like a piece of decoration, has far more meaning than that. It's a little flower that grows wild all over the headland. It goes from either a pink to a purple. And in Aboriginal times, it was used for medicine. One of the wonderful things now is that the First Nation peoples are sharing their knowledge, and there's a lot of cooperation happening. So we now know what this flower was about, how it works, and how it can also help heal for the future, for relationships, as well as for illnesses. I started painting jigsaw puzzles, or drawing them actually, in 1979. I didn't paint them until 1983. But they pop up regularly, and this one has actual jigsaw puzzle pieces, as well as painted. Keys proliferate throughout my art. You'll find keys frequently in my paintings. They help unlock knowledge. They unlock the mind to open up thinking. They unlock the mind to think about where we sit with the environment, where we sit with each other, where we sit with creatures, and where we sit with our relationship to something greater than ourselves. Some people call it God, some people call it spirit or natural energy. Some people feel it is embedded in science, but there's something greater than us. So that helps unlock that part of us, or soul part. And you will find it frequently in my paintings. That one's actually owned at the moment by a collector in Toowoomba. This one's owned by the same collector in Toowoomba, Queensland, and another Queensland and Sydney. And I borrowed them for this evening. Thank you very, very much.
上个世纪的昆士兰，成功的传统艺术家大多有两种类型，不是在机构中教书，就是在画廊中品酒。他们总是重复一种说法：你永远无法靠自己的艺术谋生。Davson 却选择跳出舒适区，独自探索艺术的新领域。在30岁的时候，他放弃了其他收入来源，过着与所有传统智慧背道而驰的生活，做一名纯粹的艺术家。Davson 是世界上非常有价值的女性艺术家之一，她的作品关注世界环境和濒危动物，并积极参与慈善事业，与艺术精神领域